Hello everyone, it is Jazz here, and today I am doing the Bedtime Book Tag, which was created by Kelly's Bookspill, and I have left the link to her video in the description. Now, I wasn't tagged for this tag, but I really liked how the questions centered around bedtime, and I also really liked the idea that I could film a video while wearing my favorite pair of snowflake pajamas and my little quirky sleep hat that I made. And yeah, I know I'm weird. So let's go on with the questions. Question 1, what book kept you up all night reading? And there are several books that I could say for this, but I decided to go with The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. I know this is a contemporary book that is a coming-of-age story, and there's maybe not like a lot of fighting or action or adventure in it, but I was literally up all night and most of the next day reading this. I might have gotten 2 hours of sleep. I think I just really got attached to Charlie and his story, and I wanted to know what was going to happen with him and what was going to go on with his coming of age story. Hey, I now have a really fun memory involved with the book, and I really did love the book, so I guess it's okay that it kept me up all night. Number 2, what book made you scared to go to sleep? Now, I do not get easily scared. Very little fictional-wise scares me. So I can read some really creepy books like right before I go to sleep, and I absolutely have no problems. So I decided to go with a book that maybe just sort of unsettled me more. Like the way it ended sort of made me feel like, wow, I'm up all night thinking about this. And that book would be Pet Sematary by Stephen King. Now first, this book kind of gets you like really involved and heart raced near the end, just because there's a very race against time almost kind of build, as I recall. So that got me like really wired. And then, you know, toddlers that are evil are pretty creepifying and disturbing, and then add on to that the ending was really ambiguous and sort of cliffhangery. Not to say that it wasn't a really excellent book, but it did get me really wired so that I really had trouble falling asleep. 3, what book almost put you to sleep? I have to say Along Came a Spider by James Patterson, which is the first book in the Alex Cross series. Now, I, previous to reading that book, had read other Alex Cross books because I was just reading them out of order. It's a case-by-case kind of investigation, mystery kind of book, so I could read them out of order, and it was like no big deal, but I thought I would go back and read the first book because I wanted to get more backstory on the main character. While I did get more backstory on the main character, there were also elements of this book that just were a little bit sleepifying to me. I don't know if it was because I felt like there were moments where the author was trying to figure out exactly what he wanted Alex Cross's character to be, and it kind of flip-flopped and was kind of weird, or if there were genuinely some parts that I found genuinely boring. But I gotta tell you, I would be sitting there and trying to read it and be like, even though I haven't watched the movie in a while, I would probably say that the movie is by far more exciting than this book. So my recommendation, if you don't want to fall asleep like me, is to just skip to book 2, Kiss the Girls, because that one was exciting. Number 4, what book has you tossing and turning in anticipation of its release? Now, usually I don't have an answer for this because I usually know nothing about book release dates, but I do actually have an answer this time because I am pretty excited about Neil Gaiman's book Norse Mythology, which comes out February 7th, I believe. And I just really love his books, but I also am kind of excited to see what he does with mythology because I feel like he is a mythology genius, and whenever he puts a spin on mythology, it's always really fun and interesting, so I'm very excited about that book. Number 5, what book has your dream fictional girlfriend or boyfriend? I've talked talked about this before, but I'm going to bring it up yet again and say my favorite fictional boyfriend is Richard Mayhew from Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. And I just love that Richard is so adorably awkward, because I love adorably awkward guys. That's like my thing, or one of my things. So he's got that, and he's Scottish, so he's a Scottish and adorably awkward, which is just like extra super plus. 6. What book world would be your worst nightmare to live in? And I have to say, hands down, The Stand by Stephen King. I just would not ever want to live in this world. First of all, the book starts with a killer flu virus, which kills most of the population. If you got the flu virus, it would be a terrible way to go. And then if you survived, you have to deal with being in this post-apocalyptic world and dealing with like Randall Flagg and a whole bunch of other really super scary evil people, plus there's just a supernatural evilness that you got to deal with. There is a good side. I do really think it would be fun to know the good characters in this book, but I wouldn't want to live in the world in general, because that was just like, no, I'm not built for post-apocalypticness. Number 7, what book cover reminds you of nighttime? I decided to go with a book that I recently got, and it is The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the collector's edition that you can get at Barnes & Noble. So the cover really does remind me of nighttime because of the background color. There are stars, there are little planets on it. I particularly feel like the spine reminds me of nighttime because there's no like crazy like alien creature or whatever this is on here. So I definitely had to go with this one for sure because of all the starriness. I have never read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, so I'm hoping to get to it next year because I just feel like I'm not part of sci-fi humanity. So that's why I bought it, and I'm excited to give it a go, possibly next year. Number 8, what book has a nightmarish cliffhanger? I brought this up before, but I still am going to bring it up again and go with Thomas Harris's Hannibal. I don't know if this technically counts as a cliffhanger book, but in my mind, it's a cliffhanger because I hate the ending of this book. Really love Thomas Harris's writing. Hate the end of this book. And I wish there was also another book to resolve what Thomas Harris did to Clarice Starling at the end of this book. So I'm going to consider it my nightmarish cliffhanger. I've never been more happy when a movie adaptation has changed the end of a book, because that's the end that I would have liked. Can you tell it bothers me? Number 9, what book have you actually dreamed about? I don't know that I've exactly dreamed of a book character or a book per se ever. Like maybe elements of it are in my subconscious, but I don't think I could like recognize them if they were. Now I will say that I do a lot of times dream about TV shows or actors in TV shows. Sometimes when I binge watch the Roswell TV series, which is based on books, I do start dreaming about the actors on that show or the characters on that show, and I guess since they are based on books, maybe that counts. I don't know. I guess I don't really have a for sure answer for this one. And number 10, what is a book monster that you would not want to find under your bed? The shadow thief guy in the second book of the Peter and Starcatcher series, Peter and the Shadow Thieves. This guy was really creepy, and he can steal your shadow and like can take control of your body, and that is like not a fan of that. That was the bedtime book tag, and I will see you guys next week with a new video. Thank you for watching. Bye!